Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
All right, welcome back to Podcast 39 of 2019, our fantasy football draft show for 2019. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can tweet me at OBKiev or tweet us at the Odds Breakers. Follow us on social media / the Odds Breakers. This episode is being brought to you by betonline.ag. For a 50% sign-up bonus, please visit theoddsbreakers.com /betonline. Click on the banner, and for first-time users, you will get a bonus, and there is also reload bonuses. Love BetOnline. They have the odds posted earliest during the week. If you'd like to help us out with our costs, we would love to help you out. Please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, and for $17.99 a month, you can become a member. And with that membership, you will have access to information on our site as well as my plays and premium plays when I make them before the line moves. For $2 more, you can have all that and become a patron subscriber and get the podcast a little bit early. And if nothing else, please visit theoddsbreakers.com and become a Free Picks newsletter subscriber. Fantasy football is back. That's right, we love it, and we can't wait to get into this show here. You know, before we get into it with Dave, I want to remind everybody why we all listen to podcasts. It's always nice to talk about the differences between podcasting and radio shows. But the two obvious things is why people listen to podcasts is A, your content is focused, and B, you don't waste half of your life listening to commercials and advertising corporations pounding your ears with absolute garbage. That is why we listen to podcasts these days. Podcasts have very limited or no commercials. If there even is a commercial, it's related to the podcast content. In most occasions, it's targeted. So it might even help you out as a listener. The owners of the podcast or the hosts do not have anybody to answer to. And the information is absolutely focused. Like with this show, we're not going to talk about people's feelings. We're not going to talk about jersey colors. We're not going to talk about fans and politics and who did what on social media, because we care about very focused things. How it affects the markets for investing in teams or fading certain teams. When it comes to betting on football or basketball or any other sport, is there value in a line? And we talk about the value of players when it comes to things like fantasy football or sometimes proposition bets. That is why we listen to podcasts. We get rid of all the clutter and we care about what is important to you and I.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Speaking of prop bets, we have a new sponsor that you should try out, and it seems extremely cool. Thrive Fantasy is a DFS type fantasy format for prop bets. So basically, you are betting on players if they are getting over or under their, for example, touchdown or yardage totals set, well, pretty much by Vegas and other sports books. It's called Thrive Fantasy. There is a link on our website. They say it's the first app out there for prop bets. You can do it right from your phone. And it looks like you can do it every single day, which is awesome. Or when it comes to football, you can do it every single week. Very cool stuff there. You can get a deposit bonus, actually, of $10 if you use the promo code OddsBreakers. So if you just want to try it out, maybe throw $20 on it, you can get an extra 10 and up your chances of possibly winning. There's also a couple contests they have for the first week, a traditional contest. Looks like $10,000 will be shared per contest. There's going to be a bunch of them. $25 entry fee on that. And the reason they're having a bunch of them is because if they get a lot of people in the contest, they're not going to short anyone. They're just going to keep adding the $10,000 contest. So that's pretty cool. And there's a touchdowns only contest. So if you just want to play props on players scoring touchdowns, you can do that as well. So check out Thrive Fantasy at theoddsbreakers.com. My friends, did you think we are going to leave you hanging when it comes to your fantasy football draft?
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
We would never do that to you guys. And that's why we have the best. DNasty is back. And let's get him going to discuss Fantasy Football 2019. All right, and now I have our buddy DNasty back to break down fantasy football and to help cover our fantasy draft show. You can tweet Dave at DNastyFantasy. How you doing, Dave?
Good. How you doing, Kiev? What's up, Fantasy Land?
Man, I'm excited already for fantasy. You and I have already done a Dynasty rookie draft. Tons and tons of research was put into that, and hopefully you guys caught our last show. We mentioned a little bit about the Dynasty rookie. We did a top 24 in our last show as well. But I got to tell you, Dave, I've never had a year that I've moved people around so much, literally, with contract holdouts, injuries, people being wishy-washy. I mean, I don't think I remember moving guys this much. Do you?
No, I don't, actually. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. Ezekiel's holdout, Antonio Brown's frostbite. A lot of crazy things going on right now, my friend.
Oh, and Brown saying he's not going to play unless they let him play with a helmet. Then all of a sudden he loses, and he's like, oh, I'll be right there at camp for you guys. I mean, it sounds bipolar to me in a way.
Oh, idiot.
What does that mean? How happy is this guy going to be on the Raiders, one of the toughest schedules this year, with Carr throwing him to him? I'm very skeptical on some of these guys, but I had to move him back up once he said he's going to camp. It was just, it's just been so back and forth. This stuff has been just going crazy. Guys like AJ Green getting hurt, and there's just going to be more injuries too, because we've only had one preseason game so far. So subject to change. We'll definitely be moving them up and down. And contact Dave if you need any fantasy advice, because Dave's the man. Been playing fantasy since before computers were doing it, since the early 90s. And that's awesome, Dave. Well, let's get started here. And obviously, you guys know we're not going to bore the hell out of you with a stupid-ass draft. That is probably the worst thing that we could do, go through some boring draft. I don't even do mock drafts anymore. Dave, do you do any mock drafts?
No, mock drafts are a waste of time. You just do your research and you'll be fine.
Yeah, you do your research. You look at your players that are trending up, players that are trending down. You look at some sleepers and some busts. You research the team's offensive lines, what percentage of the carries they're going to get, like our show last time. So if you missed our last show, go back to it. Very important stuff like that. That's where not from some idiot talking about him drafting Cooper Kupp, where you already know everything about him at a certain slot, making you think twice when you realize that this guy is probably 15 years old and literally knows nothing about fantasy football. So we're going to go over our top 24, basically first two rounds of the draft. real quick. So just boom, boom. I'll do mine. Dave will do his. Mention a couple players. Then we're going to go over our quarterbacks with trending up, trending down, sleepers and busts, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defensive kicker, making it real easy so you know the guys you should be looking out for. And I'll get started here, Dave, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, for my first pick, I have Saquon Barkley. I think most people do, but different from our last show. I have Christian McCaffrey at number 2 because Zeke had to be moved way down, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later. Alvin Kamara, I have number 3. And DeAndre Hopkins, I have 4. Travis Kelce, first tight end, nice and early, earliest for a tight end since the Gronk days. Davante Adams, I have next. Nick Chubb, I have next, a little bit higher than other people. David Johnson, Michael Thomas, Le'Veon Bell. Todd Gurley is number 11. Ezekiel Elliott, I have at number 12. Devontae Freeman, I have at number 13, and I'm a little bit higher on him. We'll talk more about that when I get to running backs. Joe Mixon, number 14. James Conner, number 15. Delvin Cook, number 16. Damian Williams, number 17. Juju Smith-Schuster, number 18. Odell Beckham, number 19. Julio Jones, number 20. Leonard Fournette, number 21. Tyreek Hill, number 22. Had to move him back up, too. And Antonio Brown, number 23. So late second round, I have Antonio Brown, and we'll talk more about that. And George Kittle, the tight end from San Fran, I have at number 24. How's yours looking, Dave?
I like it. Kiev. Mine are a little bit different. At the top, it's going to be pretty similar to yours, though, as well. Saquon at number 1. Christian McCaffrey at number 2. Alvin Kamara, I have at 3. I do like him in this offense this year with Latavius Murray there as well. Taking over from Ingram. And then I have Ezekiel at 4. That is actually kind of high for him, though. I'd probably actually slide him down to 6, though, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more. So I'm actually going to move up David Johnson to there, and then DeAndre Hopkins, and then I'm going to put Ezekiel down at 6, actually. And then Devontae Adams, James Conner, Kelce I have at 9. I usually don't draft tight ends that high. Just the top 3 guys are probably the only guys I would take in the first couple rounds. So Kelsey's definitely the number 1 guy for me. I have Nick Chubb at 10, but he in my sense could be even higher than that in some drafts, depending on if it's PPR or not. Non-PPR leagues, I'd have him even higher probably, but they say he's going to get a lot of catches this year. Julio at 11, Mixon at 12, ODB at 13. I have Le'Veon Bell at 14. Michael Thomas at 15. Tyreek Hill at 16. I have Juju at 17. Delvin Cook at 18. Todd Gurley at 19. Mike Evans at 20. 21, I have Hilton. I have Kittle at 22. And Keenan Allen at 23. And then last of all, I have Antonio Brown at 24.
Well, there you go, man. Yeah, not too different than mine. And we'll go into some of this, some of these moves when we hit our position battles right here. So let's get right to quarterback then. Not too different in the first few picks than most people. I have Patrick Mahomes. I think if you don't have Mahomes as number 1, then you are smoking crack or doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or you shouldn't even be playing fantasy football after the potential you've seen from him and from an offense like Andy Reid's. Patrick Mahomes is the man. Clear-cut number 1 for me. I have Andrew Luck at number 2. Now, there's some injury issues that I am worried about. I could slide him down. It's too early for me to slide him down, but if some more bad reports come out late preseason, I could slide him down past number 3, Deshaun Watson. Number 4, I have Russell Wilson. I have him higher than a lot of people. I moved him. He's trending up for me. I think he's a top 4 quarterback. I see a lot of rankings where he's in the top 9 or 10. I think he's top 4. I have Matty Ice Ryan at number 5 making a comeback. And I have Baker Mayfield slamming a beer at number 6. Aaron Rodgers I have at number 7, and I moved him down a little bit because I'm just not so sure about his pass catchers this year, and it's just a new offense for him, not just a tough division. Drew Brees I have lower than Aaron Rodgers, but higher than some people. He kind of ran out of gas last year. I think it's fair to put him at 8th. Carson Wentz I have at 9th. And everyone used to have Carson Wentz in the top, like last year, in the top 3 or 4. Carson Wentz is very injury prone to me. That Eagles offense is going to have a very stellar run game. I'm just not confident Wentz can stay healthy a full year. I have Jared Goff at number 10 and Ben Roethlisberger at number 11. Cam Newton I have at number 12. I'm a little bit low on Cam Newton because his shoulder issues, he had 2 shoulder surgeries within the last year and a half or whatever. I don't love that guy's attitude. Carolina lost Funchess. We'll see if DJ Moore is the man there and Samuel, but I'm just lower on Cam Newton. Greg Olson's getting older. Number 13, I have Mitch Trubisky, and he's my first sleeper because a lot of people have him in the 18, 19, 20. Mitch did a great job last year being under a first-time offense, and he's got the height, the speed, the scrambling ability to get out of a lot of problems. And that Matt Nagy offense can only possibly make him better, in my opinion. They're loaded at receiver there. So throwing to Tariq Cohen, and obviously David Montgomery is a great pass catcher. I have to have Mitch up at number 13. Jimmy G, I actually have at 14. A lot of people have him down into the 20s. I am higher on Jimmy G than most people. I think, he had that fluke knee injury last year, but he's fine now. And San Fran is poised for a breakout year. Love George Kittle. Love some of the guys, the running backs he can throw to over there. Kyler Murray, I'm a little bit lower on. I have him at number 15. A lot of places have him at number 12. Rookie, terrible offensive line. Not ready to drink that Kool-Aid yet. Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson at 22. And then the rest is history. If you want to talk about some sleepers that you might want to stash, and especially if you have these quarterbacks, if you have Cam Newton, you want to have Will Grier, and you might not have to draft him. You might be able to just pick him off of waivers, but that's a handcuff. And I think Newton is worth a handcuff. He gets hit a lot. He has that shoulder issue, and Will Grier is a very capable quarterback. And here's a crazy one. Tracy McSorley. Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback too. If he gets beat up, they don't really have a lot left there. And I think what's his name, RJ3, is ahead of McSorley, but he's going to miss the rest of the preseason. And I actually think that Trace McSorley can beat RJ3 out. So I have McSorley as a sleeper. And, drafting him around the Ryan Fitzmagic type times if you need to handcuff Lamar. But this is what I got for quarterbacks. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with the Cam Newton pick. I had to get him a little higher than you, but he is a running quarterback, though. Same with Lamar Jackson, and those guys do tend to get hurt a lot more often, just like RG3 did back in the day when he blew out his knee. So I do tend to downgrade those guys a little bit more. And then with Andrew Luck, too, reports came out today saying he's dealing with a high ankle issue. So that would downgrade Luck for me a little bit as well. But I'll go over my rankings right now as well. Mahomes at number 1. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks from last year still. I got Deshaun Watson at number 2. Aaron Rodgers at number 3. Green Bay pride here. And then I got Baker Mayfield at 4. I do like Mayfield this year with ODB there. And then I do like his receivers and his running backs there. So they do have a nice offense there, I think. I think he's going to surprise. I got Matty Ice at 6. Andrew Luck at 7, Cam Newton at 8, Carson Wentz at 9. I have Russell Wilson down at 10. I did slide him down a little bit. He did lose some receivers from last year. He does still have Lockett, and he still have DJ Metcalf, the rookie there. But he is lacking some receivers to throw to, just like you were thinking with Aaron Rodgers, even though he still has Devontae Adams, which is the number 1 receiver in my book. So maybe a little bit biased there with the Green Bay stuff. But Russell Wilson, really, I don't think Tyler Lockett is a clear number 1 there. So it still worries me with Russell Wilson. And then their line was a suspect last year, too, which I still don't think has really improved that much. So then number 11, I got Breeze, Jared Goff at 12, Kyler Murray at 13. This is going to surprise some people, actually. At 14, I have Lamar Jackson. I do like him a lot this year. If he was in the top 12 for fantasy points after he took over. So I do like his running ability. That gives you a lot of points with the running stats. If your league does have 1 point for every 10 yards. So he's going to chalk up a lot of yards rushing as well. And their new offensive coordinator, too, is going to surprise some people, too. So I do like him there. 14, I have Big Ben. 15, Jameis Winston. 16, Dak Prescott. Philip Rivers, actually, he keeps putting up numbers as well, and he's got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen there. Like, Mike Williams is one of my sleepers this year, so Philip Rivers, I think, could have a great year as well. And then 18, I have Cousins. Trubisky at 19, I do like him as well. Kiev, I like what you were saying about him. Josh Allen at 20, he's ranked a little bit low in my rankings, but I think he could be a guy that could be a sleeper this year as well. They really retooled some of his receivers there. They brought in some receivers for him. I do like the rookie running back they drafted as well in Devin Singletary. They do have a lot of running backs there as well now because they do have Gore there too. And they still have Shady there too. So they have a stable of running backs, and they have some receivers that they signed in the offseason as well. So I do like that, him as a sleeper. And I like Jimmy G as a sleeper too. I agree with you, Daniel Pettis, who they have there. They drafted a couple rookie wide receivers this year too. Their running backs, they have a three-headed monster at running back. So any of their three running backs could be very good. So definitely good offense around him and some skilled players around him as well. Then 22, Brady. 23, Sam Darnold. I don't think you had him in your rankings, but they've improved their offense greatly as well. Le'Veon Bell is definitely going to help when he can dump it down to him as a security blanket. And then at 24, I have Derek Carr. He might surprise some people too. He could be a nice sleeper. He's got Tyrell Williams there, Antonio Brown there now, a nice rookie running back, and Jacobs. So I definitely think he could surprise some people too and be a nice sleeper.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Darnold, it was, the Jets, I don't know, Le'Veon Bell, how many, is he going to get a lot of carries or is he going to catch a lot of passes? The Jets play the Dolphins twice, which is definitely nice. They have a nice schedule this year. So, maybe I was a little bit lower on Sam. Where do I have Sam here? I have him at 24. And where did you say you had him?
No, 23. So not much. I didn't hear you then.
I have him right above Matt Stafford, and
Okay.
and maybe I stopped before I even got to him. But and I have Stafford actually downgraded to 25. Losing like so many pass catchers over there is bad. So Golden Tate and obviously Curse just got injured. So Sam Darnold, he's got potential, definitely some upside. I don't love his receivers. I really don't. Herndon's okay for a tight end, but who's he going to throw to? Yeah, Anderson. I don't know. So I guess I wasn't too high on him. But Lamar, I'll tell you this: Harbaugh knows how to shake it up. But if these defenses are smart, they're going to play kind of like a hybrid zone man against Lamar Jackson. Try to stop his dunking and dinking stuff that happens. They run a lot of close to be pick plays. You've seen in that first preseason game when they destroyed Jacksonville. I think if they can prepare for Lamar, they can kind of contain him, in my opinion. Make them throw the ball past 10 yards. Make him do that because if that's the way to beat him. Because if you can't get to him and he's completing those passes, then the sky's the limit with Lamar Jackson, and I'm all wrong about him. But there you go with that. No, I like what you're doing there. Where'd you have Mitch at?
Mitch, 19.
19. So you kind of keep him low. Okay. So yeah, and there's different thoughts on him. And where you have Rodgers at?
Rodgers I had at 3.
You had at 3. Okay, so obviously Packer fan over here says says Rodgers at 3. Okay, well it's going to be definitely a fun division, my man. But we do have some disagreement there. I like Wilson more than you. You like Aaron Rodgers more than me. You and Lamar Jackson we differ on, but I think everything else isn't too bad away. Let's move right into running backs, Dave. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay, great. Running backs, there's quite a few running backs I do like. However, with all the rankings shaken up by Ezekiel's holdout, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go. Actually, we already went over running backs already.
No, we did the top. We had the. It feels like you went over running backs, but we actually just did our top 20. There's mostly running backs in it, but no. Just go ahead and shoot your top 20, 24 running backs, and then give me a couple sleepers in the later rounds.
Sounds good. Number 1, I had Saquon Barkley. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. 3, I had Alvin Kamara. I had Ezekiel at 4. I slid him down a couple spots, but I think he's still going to sign and report by week 1. Even if he doesn't report by week 1, I think he's still going to be there within the first couple weeks. So I'm only downgrading him a few spots due to that.
That's what they said about Le'Veon Bell last year.
We'll see, though. I don't think Drake Jones is going to let him sit out. Tony Pollard is not the answer there, and they're going to lose some games if they don't sign him. So I think they're going to have him in camp. Or he's going to wise up and come in because he's already under contract already. So
imagine being Jerry Jones right now with Dak Prescott turning down $30 million and Zeke Elliott saying, you know that Todd Gurley money, you're starting there. So I bet you he's not a big fan of sports agents right now by any means. No,
not at all. And then Amari Cooper's going to be wanting some big money then too.
Yeah. There's a lot of people to pay there. I would say, I would offer Zeke a decent package. The offense is run through Zeke, but as far as Dak, I'm going to say Dak, here's the deal. You can not play and we're not going to pay you. We're just going to get through and see if we can find another system quarterback, maybe be a slight downgrade. But $40 million, I'm sorry. You can't take that money away from other players. It's just too important to build up your defense and stuff like that. And so, you can always franchise him if he has a problem next year and actually plays and does okay. And then, he might play the whole sit-out game, but at the same time, they're losing out on some money there. So I'd like to see the next collective bargaining if the NFL owners are going to actually try to come in and try to stop some of these holdouts. It's going to be interesting to watch, but Jerry Jones is taking it pretty hard right now.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And with other people he's got to pay too, it's going to be a mess there going forward. So, yeah, I wouldn't blame him if they didn't sign Dak, like you said. I definitely agree with you. But then at 5, I have David Johnson. 6, James Conner. 7, Nick Chubb, who I really like a lot. I do like him in that offense this year. With Duke Johnson gone now too as well, I like they're going to look to get him some more catches in the backfield, out of the backfield. So I definitely like Nick Chubb. He's going to rise up in PPR leagues, I think, this year too. I think he's going to have more catches than last year with Duke Johnson gone. Dontrell Hilliard is their backup there now too as well. So I see Nick Chubb getting a majority of the carries, and it's hard these days to get a true bell cow at a lot of these running back by committee teams. Then I have 8 at Joe Nixon, 9 Le'Veon Bell, 10 I have Damian Williams. I moved him up a little bit on my list. He's going to be the number 1 guy in KC. They keep changing the reports around. Recently, they said Thompson is going to move it up, and so is Hyde because he was out with that hamstring injury. But now that he's back, he's running with the ones again. The dynamic offense, I just like Damian Williams, plus especially with what he did last year. He's a guy I definitely moved up my list. I got him at 10. I got Gurley at 11. Dalvin Cook at 12. He just worries me with the injuries in the past couple years, so he's just hard for me to like him any higher than that. 13, Kerryon Johnson. I do like him a lot as well. Theo Riddick's gone. Kerryon Johnson's going to be the main guy there this year. He's going to be the bell cow there, I think, as well. If he does share carries, it's going to be very limited just to give him a break. So I do like Kerryon Johnson, young running back in a Detroit offense. They're going to run the ball too, so I do like that pick at 13. Marlon Mack at 14. Melvin Gordon at 15. He did slide down quite a bit just because of his holdout. Like you were saying, like the Le'Veon Bell issue last year or Ezekiel Elliott, I did have to move him down the list, unfortunately. Number 16, Aaron Jones. I think he's going to definitely win the job this year and get a majority of the carries, so I do like him in the Packers offense. Fournette at 17. Devontae Freeman at 18. Derrick Henry at 19. It's probably a little bit low for him, but I'm not still sold on him in that offense there that they're going to be running for the Titans. And then with the quarterback with Mariota and then with Lewis still there too, I just don't see him doing what he was doing at the end of the year. I think that was a fluke. And then rounded out the top 20, I have Josh Jacobs, the rookie that I like this year. He'd be my top rookie pick for running backs.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like what you did there. I think I might have one or two different ones. Who do you have for like some sleepers and maybe the top 30, top 40, Top 50. Is there anyone you're moving up here, and is there any busts that you kind of move down?
Yeah, I have a few actually. A couple sleepers I have here would be Royce Freeman actually. Later down on your list, he's going to be splitting carries with Philip Lindsay. They said this year, and they're trying to get him the ball more this year. So I do like him. He's moving up my lists. I have Kalen Ballage from the Dolphins. Actually, I like him as well. They're saying him and Drake may split carries as well this year, or Ballage might even win the job outright. So he's a guy I've been moving up my list too. And then another guy I do like a couple of the rookies that are out there. I do like Devin Singletary. He's got a chance to win the job there in Buffalo if he has a nice showing in the preseason. So I've been moving him up my boards quite a bit as well. And Justice Hill, I do like his speed a lot. Baltimore's going to be a run-heavy team. I think Hill could be the main ball carrier there, too, before the end of the year. So I definitely have some guys that I'm moving up. A couple busts I have here. Jordan Howard. He hasn't really shown much yet with the Eagles. Bears got rid of him, and you know all about him too well, Kiev. Mm-hmm. So Jordan Howard, I don't like him. He's moving down my list right now. Darius Geis, he's still not clear to play yet. He's still not physically able to play yet with the hamstring injury now. Guy just can't stay healthy, so he kind of scares me. They still have AP there as well, the ageless wonder. So Darius Geis is definitely moving down my draft boards as a bust. Everyone was high on him last year until he got injured. He's another guy. AP, he's getting old. I don't think he's going to do much this year either. I like Bryce Love there. In Washington, and they just had too many running backs there. And then, so I'd be moving him down my list a little bit as well. And then Damian Harris, too. They're saying that Sonny Michael is still going to be the number one there, and then Harris hasn't looked very good in the preseason either.
Sonny Michel, yeah. Harris hasn't looked that great in the preseason. I just got that report as well today. So was wondering about him. No, great job. I love it, man. You gave me a couple. I forgot about Ballage. Problem is he doesn't play for a great team there. But, he has got some potential for sure. Absolutely agree with you. Geis, man, no, I know he's not clear to play. That's got to make you a little bit worried there. So big questions going on there. Let me go through mine. And I have, of course, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, just like the draft. Number 3, but I have Nick Chubb, number 4. I like him a lot more. A lot of places have him around 10. I have him at 4 for running backs. I think he's going to be the bell cow there in Cleveland there. And, they got rid of Johnson. They traded him. So I think it's Nick Chubb, and he might get he'll get goal line. He should be able to get most of the carries all game. So I like Chubb there. I like David Johnson next. David Johnson is obviously well regarded, and I think maybe Kyler Murray opens up the game for him a little bit. He'll catch some more passes. They might, his arm might threaten the defense a little bit, and they'll have to spread out, opening some holes. You can't stack the box as much as you did last year. Love that. I have Le'Veon Bell next, and Le'Veon Bell is going to take a lot of carries for every single dollar he's getting paid out in New York. So we'll see. He'll make a lot of catches too. I think he's going to be a better pass catcher than actually running back. Maybe I have Todd Gurley next, and the problem with Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, and Melvin Gordon. You have to waste an 8th, 9th, or 10th round pick on their handcuff because that little shit that you're playing is going to, or that's drafting in your league is going to grab, Henderson for Gurley, Pollard for Ezekiel Elliott, and obviously Josh Jackson or even Eckler when it comes to the Chargers nice and early. So you're wasting like a wide receiver 2 / tight end 1 / flex player. Just to handcuff these people. So it's double bad, So that's why I downgraded Elliott and Gurley so low because of that. And I have it Gurley 7, Elliott 8, Devontae Freeman I have at 9, Dave. And that's my biggest sleeper to move into the top running backs here. Devontae Freeman, they don't have Tevin Coleman over there, and Ito Smith, he wasn't that good. I watched him a lot, and I owned him in that Dynasty League. He wasn't good at all, and they're reporting that Devontae Freeman is cutting great and looking great. A couple years back, he was a top 3 running back. I think he makes a comeback this year, and I think there's going to be a lot of value on him. A lot of places I'm at 16. I have him at 9. I have Joe Mixon at 10. And it's a 10. You know, I might even have to lower him a little bit. That Bengals offensive line is looking pretty bad. James Conner, I have next, and I'm a little worried about Conner because I love Samuel so much, and Snell, that draft pick. They're definitely gonna want to play him a little bit. Damian Williams, I have next for all the reasons that you said, Dave. Delvin Cook, I have downgraded slightly to 13 from 9. He can't stay healthy. Kerryon Johnson, just like you said, I like him a lot. And Leonard Fournette. And I have Josh Jacobs as my 16th best running back. I think he's going to be the bell cow. And Oakland, even though Oakland's not going to be that great, he's still going to get a lot of carries. Aaron Jones, I have next for Green Bay at 17. Melvin Gordon is where I have him at 18. And Melvin, the offense doesn't run through Melvin Gordon, unlike the Dallas Cowboys through Ezekiel Elliott. So he is a risk. And if it came to me, and I'm like in that, early third round and Melvin Gordon's there, I might just bypass him, just to let you know. He's a man of great characters. We both know too. So hopefully he comes back. Marlon Mack, I have next. David Montgomery, I have at my 20th best running back, and I think that he's going to really hurt Tariq Cohen. And Tariq, I even downgraded even farther. And unfortunately, I like Cohen a lot, but he's going to be more of a special teams guy. He'll still gets a lot of the third downs, but I think Montgomery might just move up a little bit more than what Howard did for the Bears last year. I have Derrick Henry next at 21, and I don't like with the Titans' schedule this year. They had such an easy schedule last year. They have an extremely hard schedule this year. So, playing guys like Mahomes and Phillip Rivers, and not to mention their own division, Deshaun Watson and Andrew Luck twice. Derrick Henry, I think the Tennessee's going to be down a lot passing the ball. Mark Ingram, I have next. And there's a lot of running backs in Baltimore, as we both know. Chris Carson, and then Phillip Lindsay for Denver. So my busts are kind of James White. I have him 28th. A lot of people have him 21. I just think Sonny Michel did so much in the Super Bowl that they're just going to be using him more and more. And I'm also worried a little bit about Harris, like you said. So I downgraded White. Royce Freeman, I do agree with you. I have him up. Tariq Cohen, a lot of people have him at 26. I have him at 35. I have Alexander Mattison from the Minnesota Vikings, old Boise State running back, as a sleeper. A lot of people have him in the 50s and 60s. He's going to get some goal line carries, and you can't trust Delvin Cook to stay healthy. This guy might get a lot more play than you think. Minnesota has fixed their offensive line. This guy's going to get some yards, man. I like this sleeper pick in Alexander Mattison. I also like Jalen Samuels. He's trending up for me. And that's pretty much all I have. Everyone else is kind of a risk right there, Dave. So that's how I have it pinned out. What do you think?
Well, I like the Alexander Madison one. I do agree with that one. I think he's going to get a lot of carries this year. Another guy we kind of forgot about too is Chris Carson. He's actually going to be more involved in the passing game. Sounds like he is running away with the number one job there too in training camp. So he's another guy too that you might want to move up your boards a little bit and could be a nice sleeper as well.
Yeah, I have him at 23, and I think that's where most of the people ranked him. Maybe I'm a little low on him, but maybe I should swap him with Derrick Henry. So we'll think a little bit more about that for sure, Dave. Let's move into wide receiver then, my friend. Why don't you go first?
Okay, sounds good. Top couple receivers are going to be pretty much like the rankings listed. DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's a stud. He's going to be the number one guy there. Deshaun Watson loves throwing to him, so he's my undisputed number one. Devontae Adams is close behind him at number 2. He's the guy in Green Bay as well. I like MVS, Marquise Valdes-Scantling. I think he's going to win the second job there. I think he's going to be a nice sleeper pick down the road. So he's going to be definitely one of my higher sleeper picks that I'm going to be going for in later rounds. So definitely grab him in the later rounds. Julio Jones at 3. Odell Beckham at 4. I do like him with Baker Mayfield. Michael Thomas at 5. He's pretty consistent, and he's going to get you yards and touchdowns, and Breeze likes throwing to him as well. Juju Smith-Schuster at 6. I like him to have a huge year. I do like him as the number 1 now in Pittsburgh. They don't really have a clear number 2 there yet, so they're going to be throwing him the ball a lot. Big Ben's going to be looking his way all the time. Tyreek Hill, I have him a little bit higher than most people maybe at 7. Mike Evans at 8. This might be a surprise for some people. Tyler Boyd at number 9. I do like him a lot. He came on last year, had a nice little breakout year last year. AJ Green's going to be out for the first couple weeks possibly. He could become their number 1 there. AJ Green's always injured at least a couple times a year. I do like Tyler Boyd a little bit higher. I moved him up my list. He's a guy I do really like. T.Y. Hilton at 10. Keenan Allen at 11. Kenny Golladay, another guy I moved up my list quite a bit. They don't really have any other number 1s there. He's going to be their number 1 there now, I think. Matthew Stafford's going to be looking his way. 3rd year in the league now. So I definitely expect big things from him. I think he's definitely coming on. Mari Cooper at 13. Mari is dealing with an injury right now, the plantar fascia. He's dealing with that right now, irritation. So moving him down a little bit due to that. I got both Vikings receivers back-to-back, Thielen and Diggs, 14 and 15. Cooks at 16. Edelman, still Brady's favorite target for the Patriots. I got him at 17. Woods at 18. AJ Green I got at 19. Moved him down quite a bit. And then rounded up 20, I got Antonio Brown. Tyler Lockett, I got 21.
Wow, before you keep going, that is low for Antonio, man. That is I thought I'd be lower than you, but wow, you really downgraded him for his off the field problems. Interesting.
Well, that and then just I don't like the off the field problems, and then with the frostbite too, and then all those off the field antics, and then there's some stuff that's going to come out in Hard Knocks too, supposedly rumored too. So I'm moving him down the draft boards quite a bit, and with Derek Carr throwing to him too. So
absolutely, I don't disagree. Maybe I'm even too high. I mean, maybe that frostbite thing. Maybe he was thinking about maybe I should sit out the year and make my helmet as an excuse. Who knows? Maybe it's worse than we think. I don't know. A lot of speculation there, but we'll have to check some of the league doctors and and analyst doctors, see what they have to say.
Yeah, and well, the thing is too, I don't want to take a chance on him. He's just too risky. He's going to be a high reward guy though for you guys. Even though he could be a potential bust, but he could be definitely a sleeper there at later rounds. If people are drafting him later, hey, go and grab him if you want that high risk, high reward player. Definitely take Antonio Brown. Cooper Kupp I have at 22. Alshon at 23. And then I have, at 24, I have Calvin Ridley, who I really like. And then Mike Williams at 25, I'm just going to throw him in there too, because I like him and Ridley as sleepers too, because Ridley might be getting some more targets this year. And Mike Williams is sliding into the number 2 slot with Tyrell Williams gone, so I like him to have a big year this year as well as a nice sleeper.
So you like him more than Sanu then, Ridley, it looks like.
I do.
Okay. I wonder, yeah, that's interesting. Most boards have Sanu way down. And I wonder about that. Maybe maybe it will be Ridley this year. No, good. Any other busts or sleepers you want to talk about?
Yeah, definitely. Some others. My biggest sleeper is going to be Marquise Valdes-Scantling. Definitely like him. He's one of my favorite receivers. I like the rookie receivers for the Baltimore, Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin. I think either one of those guys could break out this year. I definitely like both of those guys there. Curtis Samuel, we were talking about him a little bit before. I do like him. He's going to be the number 2 there for the Panthers, and I think he can have a big year as well. He's definitely coming on. James Washington, he could end up being the number 2 for Pittsburgh. It sounds like, although he might pass up Dante Moncrief, I don't think Dante Moncrief is that great of a receiver, so I think James Washington should win that job, but we'll have to wait and see. And then another sleeper I do really like is Anthony Miller. I was high on him last year as a rookie. He's his second year in the league now. He's got Mitch throwing to him, so he's definitely a sleeper I definitely really like. Some guys that could be possible busts. Cortland Sutton, a lot of guys were high on him last year. Sanders is supposedly back, but now he might be going in for another surgery, though. He has another injury, supposedly. So Sutton had a chance to blow up last year, but he never really took the opportunity. So he's definitely a guy that I have as a bust. Brandon Cooks, he could be somewhat of a bust this year as well. We expected big things from him. He still had a solid year last year, but with Kupp and Woods there, and they have quite other young receivers, quite a bit of other few wide receivers there as well. He could be a potential bust as well.
Yeah, he's kind of quiet, and then he had a great Super Bowl, I believe, and he had a pretty good end of the playoffs there. Everyone was taking Woods for all the yards, and Cooks ended up getting them, I believe. No, I love what you're saying there, and I really agree on Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and when I get to him, I'll tell you why. And Dave, I'm exactly like you. I have DeAndre Hopkins first and Devontae Adams second. Most drafts I see have Adams first and Hopkins second. Well, I like Hopkins first too because obviously the Houston Texans, they should have the quarterback's mobile, obviously, but I can't trust Kiki Kute to be healthy over there. And, obviously they don't have a tight end to throw to. I just think DeAndre Hopkins is a target machine, right? He's a target machine.
He is, definitely.
Yeah.
And Will Fuller, too, never was really been healthy either for him either. So their number 2 receivers just aren't there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, is Will Fuller. Thank you, Dave. Devontae Adams I have second, but I'm going to get to why I like Valdes-Scantling. I have Michael Thomas third, Juju Smith fourth. So I'm high on him like you are. I downgrade Julio Jones to fifth a little bit from 3. And I think he's just getting older. He's a big guy, and he's just doesn't really complain for the ball. That's what receivers do. They complain and they get targets. It's your Odell Beckham, Antonio Brown. You know how it is. And I have Tyreek Hill 6th, kind of close to you. I have Antonio Brown 7th. Maybe I'm a little too high on him, but he's still Antonio Brown, magic hands, speed. But I'll tell you this, if it comes to me picking him or Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill, I'd probably pick those other guys, or even Keenan Allen. I have Odell Beckham's next at I have Mike Evans at 8, Odell Beckham at 9th. I like how Callaway is, I believe, suspended now. So now Beckham and Landry should get a little bit more love, a little bit less balls to go around. Keenan Allen is 10th. T.Y. Hilton is 11th. I have Amari Cooper as 12th. No big surprises, but I have Robert Woods at 13th. He was trending up for me. I think he's going to be the man in L.A. Adam Thielen I have next. And just like you, Kenny Galladay, I have him at 15. He's the only pass catcher really for the Detroit Lions. And let's just hope they score more than 0 points like they did in their first preseason game. Allen Robinson for the Bears. I'm sorry, Dave, but A-Rob, he's going to be a big piece of this offense. And while they're focusing on Montgomery and Tyreek Hill, he's going to get some open shots there. He's the number 1 receiver on the Bears on a Matt Nagy offense. I have to have him higher than 26, where a lot of people have him. I have him at 16. Stephon Diggs at 17. Concerned about his injury problems a little bit. Tyler Lockett I have as 18. Russell Wilson a Lockett. And then 19, I have Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And I got to tell you, Dave, they're going to put a safety over Devontae Adams. They have to. He's big. He's fast. And Valdes-Scantling might be the open guy that Aaron Rodgers throws to. He might be that guy, especially under a Matt LaFleur type offense. So I really am high on Valdes-Scantling there. Julian Edelman, I have 20th. Brandon Cooks 21st. I might be a little too high on him. Tyler Boyd I have at 22nd, just like you, Dave. I'm higher on him. And DK Metcalf is my other sleeper. I have at number 23. Jarvis Landry at number 24. So, I love DK over there, and he should be able to get some Russell Wilson love. The guy's a beast. He is huge. He's fast, ripped, strong. I mean, if Ole Miss didn't suck so bad, this guy might have gotten a lot more yards than he did. DK Metcalf, I'm thinking he's like the next Julio Jones. I really think that. So I am high on DK Metcalf. Some other sleepers, Devon Funchess, I have. He was doing well in Indianapolis, and I think I have him at 29th, where a lot of people have him in the 40s. I downgraded A.J. Green all the way down to 30th, I believe. And a lot of places have him higher than that. Curtis Samuel, I'm a little bit higher on for Carolina. He's been trending up. Has some injury issues, but I guess he's been since they lost Funchess. They got DJ Moore. I think Curtis Samuel is going to play a big part in that Carolina offense. I have Calvin Ridley next. I'm a little bit more down on Ridley just because it's the news there. I thought he was a little bit too high. Marvin Jones for Detroit. I guess you can't forget about him, but he's getting older. And yeah, that's about it. I agree with Moncrief over there in Denver. I'm sorry, in Pittsburgh. I think Washington's probably the better pick there as well. And I do like what you said about Anthony Miller. So love it, Dave.
Yeah, and I'm a huge DK Metcalf fan as well. Even in the draft, I was hoping the Packers would have nabbed him, even with one of their picks in the second round. So definitely like DK Metcalf as well. He's an athletic freak, and they say he's even smarter than they thought he was going to be too. And he's actually picking up the playbook really quickly over there too.
Absolutely, my man. So definitely love what you're doing there. Tight ends. We don't have to go through many of these. Let's just do our top 12, Dave, and then we'll mention some sleepers. So I have obviously Travis Kelce, then George Kittle and Zach Ertz, and I have no problem if you draft any of those three guys in the first 2 rounds because they are targeted much higher than anybody else, and it's like a 1.5 targets per game more than the next guy, which was Eric Ebron last year. But unfortunately for Eric Ebron, they have Doyle back. So Doyle was injured pretty much mostly all year, so it made Ebron such a stud. So actually after Zach Ertz, I have Evan Ingram from the Giants. The Giants lack receivers. They have a nice young quarterback in Daniel Jones that might be getting a lot of playing time. Otherwise, Eli's going to have nowhere to throw it. Evan Ingram is going to be a stud, I think, for the New York Giants, and he's my number 4 tight end. Jared Cook at number 5 for the New Orleans Saints. It'll be kind of Drew Brees' scapegoat guy. Hunter Henry I have for the Chargers at number 6. So a lot of people have him at 5. I have him at 6. He's a little bit injury prone. Vance McDonald I have at number 7. He is supposed to be a stud in Pittsburgh. And after they lost Antonio Brown and obviously Lev Bell was out last year, but I think he's just going to be used even more with some of his beastly moves. Like he threw that guy last year out of bounds. That was one of the highlights of the year.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. And I think that Vance is going to get more targets this year. I have Eric Ebron at number 8. Like I said, with Doyle back, I'm a little worried about him. David Njoku at number 9. Cleveland is the trendy team everyone's on. Well, I think Baker Mayfield knows how to spread the ball out, so I think Njoku's going to be all right. And finally, number 10, I have my sleeper is T.J. Hawkinson for Detroit. I think that they lack wide receivers. They only have Galladay. I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to play a full load and get lots of targets out in Detroit. I love him as my first sleeper. So some of the guys I'm lower on, Dave, I don't like O.J. Howard. I actually have him next, but a lot of people have him in the top 5, top 4. You have to remember, Jameis Winston throws to Cameron Brate, especially in the end zone. O.J. Howard, he might just play the same role he's been playing the last 2 years. I am thinking he's a bust. Greg Olsen, I'm a little higher on. A lot of people were down to number 20, 18 on him. I have him at 14. You have to remember, it's still Greg Olsen, and he still has that camaraderie. He is older, though, so I wouldn't keep him as a tight end 1. He'd be a tight end 2. Noah Fant for Denver. He's going to get some passes, obviously, there. Joe Flacco's going to, probably throw him the ball a little bit there. I think that Tyler Eifert is, he's going to be a tight end 2. A couple sleepers. I have Josh Oliver for Jacksonville. He might be their starting tight end. I have him at number 26 when a lot of people have him in the 40s. Dawson Knox for Buffalo might be another starting tight end as well.
I like it.
Who do you got? Right. Who do you have, buddy?
All right, great. Top 3 are going to be the same for me as well. Like you said, they're like having another receiver, especially in PPR leagues. So Kelce I have at 1, Kittle at 2, Ertz at 3, but you can definitely actually argue for Ertz to be at 2 and Kittle at 3, so it doesn't really matter. Those top 3 are all pretty solid. And then I actually have O.J. Howard. I think he's an athletic freak. I think sooner or later they got to just start going to him more. So I have him at 4, where actually a lot of people do have him. Hunter Henry, I think he's going to be the man for the Chargers. Antonio Gates is too old. He's not coming back. Even if he is back, he's not going to have any production there. So Hunter Henry is definitely the guy that's taken over the throne there. So I have him at 5. Evan Ingram, the guy I really like too for New York Giants, just for all the reasons you stated, Kiev. I do like Ingram a lot as well. I got him in most of my leagues last year. I have him in my Dynasty League as well. Jared Cook I have at 7. I do like him. Actually, a report came out today saying he's displaying some nice chemistry with Drew Brees in the training camp so far. He had some nice years with Aaron Rodgers and with Derek Carr a year ago, so he definitely can put up some numbers. So definitely a guy you might want to take a look at. I had David Njoku for the Cleveland, and then I had Vance McDonald after him, and then I have Ebron at 10 then. And then some of my sleepers I do like this year, some of the same ones as you, but then actually a couple that you didn't mention. I do like Irv Smith Jr. He had a really nice first preseason game. Kyle Rudolph is getting a little bit older, so he's definitely their tight end of the future. I do like him. Darren Waller, they say he's an athletic freak with Jared Cook gone now. He does have a chance to start. He is a little banged up right now, but if he does get the run with the number ones, he could put up some nice numbers there too with their offense, how it's going to be this year with Tyrell Williams and Antonio Brown. If Brown plays most of the time, but even one of those guys is always going to be out though. Brown or Tyrell Williams, I can see getting injured at some time this year, and they're going to spread the targets around. So I do like Waller as a keeper. I do like both rookie tight ends that you were talking about as well. I do like Font and Hawkinson as well. I think either one of them could have a breakout year as well. And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I agree. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I forgot about I forgot about Irv Smith. Yeah, he's definitely somebody with Rudolph getting older. I like him. Waller, though, will Antonio Brown even let him get a pass thrown to him? I'm not sure about that. So
he's a deep sleeper, I would definitely say. Waller's probably one of my deep sleepers, but he's a guy that could surprise, though. A lot of people aren't going to have him on their boards. He's a guy you could probably pick up halfway through a couple games into the year if he's doing well. So, but my other guy I do really like a lot, even though he is suspended the first 4 games. A guy I have in our Dynasty League as well is Herndon for the Jets. Like you were saying, they don't really have a number one any go-to receivers there, so they're definitely going to be throwing Herndon the ball a lot. As this year went on last year, he definitely came on. So after the suspension, definitely if you want to draft him as your second tight end, Chris Herndon definitely is a guy I like as a sleeper as well.
All right, my man. Well, those were good, and I'm glad that we're in agreement on our top ones. Where'd you have Evan Ingram again? What number do you have him at?
I had him at 6, but I would definitely rank him higher too, possibly. I could see him at 4 or 5 as well. He's probably still one of my top tight ends.
Okay, cool. That was the one that I was really curious to get your take on. Yeah, he's definitely one I'll be eyeing up here. He might even be worth a 4th round pick. So we'll take a look at him a little bit more. All right, let's go to the defense then, for sake of time. And obviously for kicker, I'm only going to mention one. But for defense, let's just go over our top 10, Dave, and then any defenses that'll be sleepers or busts. Well, for number 1, I'll go first. Believe it or not, I don't have the Chicago Bears at number 1. And there's
wow.
I know, right? Well, they're really great, and they had tons of picks. They're plus 12 in the turnover margin, which was 3rd in the league. But you can't expect that against some of the quarterbacks that they're facing this year. Guys like Phillip Rivers, guys like obviously Carson Wentz. They're playing guy. Well, it depends if Dak's playing, but they're going to be playing the Eagles there. They're going to be playing Jared Goff. He's very good quarterback, and he'll probably be looking for revenge from that Bears game from last year. And then you have Drew Brees. There's going to be some really good quarterbacks that they're facing. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Bears. Now, I'm not saying that there's still not going to be a great defense. You still got Khalil Mack and everything there, but their schedule is so hard, right? They just have a very hard schedule. I'm looking to more of a team like Baltimore. I think the Baltimore Ravens have always been defense inclined. They run the ball a lot, meaning there's not a lot of time for the other team to run up the score and score points if you have one of those bad bust weeks. Baltimore, Harbaugh's proved it many years. He deserves, being ranked in the top. I love who the guy, some of the guys that they picked up. And I just think that Baltimore is a for sure number 1. I think they can beat up on the Bengals this year. I like their schedule. I'm putting the Baltimore defense at number 1. I'm putting the Rams at number 2. I'm putting, and I think, they lost Sue, but, the Rams still get to beat up on the Cardinals a little bit. We'll see what happens with the 49ers and Seahawks. I am kind of higher on them, but I definitely like the Rams at 2. I like Jacksonville at number 3. Jacksonville is a defensively minded team. They are they regressed last year. I expect them to progress a little bit this year. They still have some beasts on that. Calais Campbell on that team. Obviously, great secondary. And then I have the Bears 4th. I have Minnesota 5th. I have Cleveland actually 6th. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Yeah, Cleveland's got a very easy schedule. A very, very easy schedule. So I had no problem doing that. I think they have a great shot at scoring a lot of points, especially if they're winning some games. There's going to be some teams throwing against them, and they've had so many number 1 draft picks over the years. I definitely like this Browns defense. I have the Chargers next at number 7, I believe, and then I have Denver at number 8. I have the Colts actually at number 9. I love Darius Leonard. I liked how they picked up Houston. They should be getting more sacks this year. They were very injured last year, and they're going to be beating some teams with Andrew Luck at the helm. I think that they're going to be getting some chances for some nice picks and a lot of sacks. And then last I have Houston. I have Houston, and we'll see what they do with Clowney. I heard there's some trade rumors on him, but Houston I would have at number 10 there. So sleeper I have next is Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's kind of the sleeper D. TJ Watt over there is getting a lot of sacks. I love how they drafted Bush as their linebacker. I think he's going to have a great year. I think Pittsburgh's D is going to be better than you think. And it's just the same thing. They're in the division of Cleveland. They get to beat up on Cincinnati. New England and Buffalo, are I'm a little bit higher on them as well. Defense, I'm really low on still. Atlanta, I think they're going to be one of the worst defenses next to Cincinnati and Tampa Bay and Miami. So those are my top 10.
Sounds good. At number 1, actually, I had your defense, Kiev, Chicago. I think they're the number 1 defense this year. So number 2, I had Jacksonville. You discussed them a little bit. I like Jacksonville this year. I like the Rams. They made some key offseason acquisitions. Signed a few guys. They got Clay Matthews now from the Packers too. They signed a couple of veterans in the offseason, which I like some of their moves. Minnesota at 4. They're always pretty solid. Baltimore at 5. I do like them as well. They're always a more defensive oriented team. They have some young guys that'll step in at linebacker for some of the linebackers they lost. So I do like them at 5. Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James, that's all I have to say. I love him. He's a stud. And then they got Adderley then too in the draft. So their secondary is going to be ridiculous. So I do like the Chargers. They're nice, young, up-and-coming defense. I definitely like them. Houston at 7. Cleveland at 8. Yes, they're just stockpiling young guys on defense. They got Greedy Williams in the draft this year. And then they have a young quarterback already in Ward. So their secondary is going to be pretty good as well. So I do like them. They're up. And then they have Garrett too. So they're actually an up-and-coming defense. And they have a lot of number 1 picks and a lot of high draft picks on that defense. So I definitely look for them to fulfill some of that promise that they have there. New Orleans at 9. They're one of the guys that teams I moved up. They had a good defensive showing last year, and they're only getting better. I like them at number 9. At number 10, this is one of my sleeper picks right here, Denver. I like Denver this year. They've always been pretty good on defense. Bradley Chubb, he came on last year. I look for him to only to get better, and then Von Miller there too. Those 2 guys are 2 studs, rushers, so no one's going to have time to throw with those guys rushing you, so I definitely like them. And then my sleepers actually are right in line with you, Kiev. A couple of my sleeper defenses would be Buffalo. Buffalo had a great defense last year. I like Milano there, and they has a couple young draft picks that are going to be coming into that defense as well. They played a great defense last year. New England, they're always solid with Bill Belichick there. And then Seattle, they've actually been replacing some of the older guys there over the years, and they've had some nice draft picks there too. So I like Michael Blair at safety, Trey Flowers at cornerback there. They have some nice young secondary pieces there. They'd be one of my sleepers as well.
Oh, nice. Absolutely. And I guess Carolina would be another one I could mention. But, Baltimore, they just always seem to do extremely well. I like how they got Earl Thomas as well from
huge pickup
from Seattle. So I think he's going to be one of those leaders on the defense, right? And so, like that Ray Lewis type, the mouth, the guy that the veteran that motivates all the young kids, right? So exactly. I kind of like that role for him.
And Pittsburgh, do you agree with you on that? all the things that you said about Pittsburgh are definitely true in my book. They're one of my higher sleepers that I have as well.
Well, fantastic, Dave. Let's just there's only one thing I want to say about kickers, and there's not much, right? First of all, don't draft them until the very last round, and if you do, you suck at life. Unless the only one caveat I have is if you draft Legatron, you can draft Legatron the round before last, but that's it. That's it. You saw Zerline kick that 57 or whatever yard field goal to beat the Saints after that awful call, but still, it's still Zerline making kicks to win games. He's not going to lose you any games. I guess a Zerline would be worth just one round before, and don't draft any Bears kickers is all I have to say.
And then, actually, one kicker I would definitely recommend is Harrison Bucker. He's on the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to be a high-scoring offense. If he's not kicking field goals, he's kicking a ton of extra points because they're going to be just putting up tons of points. So definitely him would be the one kicker I would draft.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're not going to draft any like Jason Sanders from Miami or Suck Up from Tennessee when they're always down. They're not going to be even kicking field goals. They're going to be going for it, so that's not going to be good for you. So at least try to draft somebody that is going to be scoring. Will Lutz from New Orleans, Gostkowski from New England, right? There's going to be, at least they're getting extra points, and they'll probably get a few field goals at the end of the game. So that's what I like as well, my man. Well, Dave, thank you so much for coming on, my man. That was about an hour, and I think we hit it pretty hard. And do you have anything left to add?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure, as always.
All right. Well, we're going to keep you on every Monday during the NFL fantasy season through weeks 1 through 16 to go over our players that are trending up for the week, trending down for the week, maybe based on matchups and things like that, some sleepers and some busts, and obviously the nasty sleeper of the week as we usually cover, Dave. So I really look forward to that.
Me as well.
All right, guys, that was DNasty breaking down a little fantasy football, sleepers, busts, trending up, trending down per positions. If you have any questions, please tweet us at the Odds Breakers. Have a fantastic weekend and go get some winners.